Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? Demon Slayer, guys. My lord, this episode, very interesting. It looks like I was pretty right on my prediction. I didn't really see them having a reason to send out these like overpowered characters unless actually they were gonna hopefully do something with them, like there's a lot of characters in shows that sometimes just don't get utilized well, and I think that making these like demons that they're going against be like pretty high top tier demons was a pretty smart move on their part, just because I honestly didn't expect them to go for it, so with them going for it and actually showing us this, it gives me a little bit better perspective of how actually strong our characters are. They're not the strongest out of everybody, but they definitely could take care of the small fries compared to these demons that they're going against right now. We're talking about one that could shed its skin to make itself incredibly more powerful, and we're talking about another one that literally can slice through swords with the spider web that it has. So these are some ridiculously powerful like techniques slash moments in general. And to think that it seemed effortless to this kid, like he just did it and he's like, okay, well, that's that, I'm done here. It seemed pretty sketch, and that our main character could easily lose his life if he was have to, if he has to literally fight this battle by himself. So I'm kind of interested to see how they're going to incorporate like the other character that went and try to help out our poison guy who's completely destroyed right now. But at the same time, I would love to see what this supposed butterfly flying around girl is going to do for him. How she can help him in the grand scheme of stuff, and I don't know. It just feels like as soon as we saw him, like, still very on the edge of giving up, because his breathing, like, kind of stopped and stuff, and everything went black. So, he kind of, like, zoned out for a little bit, and still hearing his grandfather kind of gives him that little oof to survive long enough for this girl to show up. But being as poisoned as he is, and his legs completely jacked up, and, like, all the above, it almost seems impossible, right? Like it just seems like there's not much he can do at this point in time. But with that being said, with her being here, hopefully there's some weird thing she could do to help him out. I mean, there's some people that don't want this character even in the show anymore. This guy, the lightning guy, which is, I mean, that's one way to look like a perspective, but to be fair, I didn't actually think he was too OP. Like I understand him going to sleep and, one-shotting everybody he's gone against, but we practically almost seen that with our main character as well, like it's not like he hasn't gone into every single battle and come out the victor, and we can pretty much guess he's going to do that just by the way he starts to see the string. Oh, he's going to see the string, and then he's going to cut the string. Okay, there we go. I just made the prediction. Oh, look, he did it. He cut the string. You know what I mean? Like it's stuff like that that it's really it can be easily counterintuitive, right? Or we could be like, oh, the boar guy is way too overpowered because if anybody ever tries to run away, he'll just like sense them and then stop them from running away. It's like, all right, but did they then make him like, you know what I mean? Like, is he unable to lose in the battles? Is he capable of losing? Is he capable of, taking damage? Is there things that could slow him down to make him not fight at 100%? Yes, and I think that's why some people don't understand the concept of anime or the concept of just storytelling in general when it comes down to doing stuff with the character just to bring in other characters to really even out their skills. Like, for instance, if you really think that him going to sleep and trying to fight this guy that the main character is fighting right now would end the same way he just killed that other guy that he just fought, you're wrong. period. Like, we're going against someone that literally can shatter demon slayer swords. So you're telling me that if he threw one of those webs at the guy and he decided to cut at it, it wouldn't break just because. You know what I mean? Like, it's really annoying to hear like some people's like like it's like some people just don't think before they talk, I feel like, and it's all out of pure emotion. So maybe that's why it sounds even more goofier to me. It's like I want a character gone because I know how his battles are going to end. Then how come everybody still watches Dragon Ball and knows how the battles are usually going to end with Goku doing something to win it all? You know, like, or vice versa. Fucking Black Clover. I can go on and on. Like, there's a million shows that do this. It's just shonen. That's how shonen be. That's how shonen works. So to think it works any other way is just wrong. Like, they're going to be strong. They're going to find ways that probably shouldn't have been able to be found. And after finding those ways, they then use them to their advantage. They then become stronger than their opponent that they pretty much just told us they could never be stronger than at times. And they do the unthinkable. And that's like unheard of to people nowadays. Like, how could he just do the unthinkable by just doing the unthinkable? That doesn't make any sense. Like, well, yeah, it's a show that, if they're fighting demons, I don't know how much sense they need to put into it. I mean, if you think about it, demons are much more powerful than humans naturally, and to just all of a sudden say, "Hey, I'm a human that trained vigorously and I know a couple sword techniques. Now I'm stronger than a demon?" Like, how does that make sense? So people look way too far into things, and usually the author or the writer kind of expects that from these people. Is That's why they do things that would put people in a position to have to actually pick or choose to keep up with the series. Like, oh, you did something I disliked. Are you gonna stop watching or are you gonna keep watching? And with this week's episode, he did a lot of things that I expected and I called from like 2 weeks ago. I said that these guys were there's no way they should be a match for these people that are showing up, right? That they should have a reason for these new people showing up, coming to help them, to have a reason, to actually be helping them. Like, why are they showing up if our characters can take them out? And if they are showing up and our characters can take them out, are they just going to spread the word like, oh, these guys need to be upgraded because they're much stronger than we thought? That would have been cool, but it was just seemingly a way to be like, hey, uh, we have characters that are much, much stronger than the ones we've been watching all this time. And the ones we've been watching all this time are practically babies compared to these guys. Like, imagine not being able to cut through the skin of something and then all of a sudden being able to because you pushed a little bit harder, you tried a little bit longer, and then you still fail, right? You fail overall. But then, but then all of a sudden, someone shows up and cuts off the same arm you just tried to cut off with the technique and all that stuff, and seemingly does it just by swinging his sword. So yeah, I mean, these are the types of things that happen in anime and manga that, some people don't really understand, which I was saying. It makes sense, like, it's not, these things don't happen in everyday shows, these things don't happen in live action shows, and, it's not for everybody, but to think that they're going to do something uh, crazy, crazy is beyond me, like, it's not hard to make a conveying strong character be strong and then make the monsters around that strong character stronger than him. Like, give him a reason that he can't win in one slash. Give him a reason that he has to use a technique that he watched someone else use or something along those lines that don't even use his actual power, but since it's a different technique, it's a little bit better for him to use in the situation. So the one thing also that kind of caught my attention was the fact that the guy who shows up to save the boar actually uses the same kind of like water breathing style. So it looks like there isn't even that much of like breathing techniques. I mean, sure, this guy has one called the bore or whatever, but at the end of the day, I think it just comes down to what he named it at that point. Like maybe it's not even really that, and it's something more like just like a neutral type of ability where he just uses the breathing techniques, but he's not really channeling an element, to so to speak. But I'm not sure. We'll see how that works out. But other than that, man, to see this boar guy getting straight up strangled out even was another moment of me like, nah, he's not gonna die. Like he's having all these flashbacks to people who seemingly are important to him, and people that have told him time and time again to stay alive, and if you do die, die with your head held high, like prideful and stuff like that. So it was very, very sketch to say the least, and to see all this unfold and know that all three of our characters should make it out like they're both gonna all have some pretty messed up like thought processes, after this. Like they just gone through hell and back, and they still got to figure out some way, somehow, how to. Um, well, one of our characters got to figure out one way how to survive, while the other one just has to pretty much experience the ultimate power of this like high level guy, pretty much. So I'm really interested in seeing where this all leads out because, to be fair, this show is interesting and I think it's very, very entertaining and stuff, but the whole thing for me in animes and stuff is what does the plot actually do? Like, what actually happens at the end of this whole entire thing? And if it's dope and I love it, then I can really like just go ham and talking about it. But if it's more of something that you can't really, get behind, and it's something where you're just kind of like, it's all right, like the overall plot. I'm saying not just these characters and how cool they act at times, not just like certain things that happen here and there, but the actual plot of said story. Like what made it good? What put a new type of spin? What kind of spin did they put on this story to make it better than what I expected and stuff like that? So I really look forward to seeing what they can do. I have no like real high expectations of them like doing something I've never seen before or something like that, but I do want to see these characters become, you know, a lot better than they were this week. Like I want to see them grow from this humiliation that they suffered this week and become much better, for it. At least learn something from it. And that would be pretty cool in my opinion. Like that's enough for me. And for them to like ridiculously grow continuously, it's probably the whole entire scheme. Like that's what they're going for in my opinion, is making these three grow ridiculous almost to the point where they're the ones who just shows up and stops everything as it starts. So who knows if that's actually going to happen? I'm definitely just guessing at this point. I love thinking about what is possible in these shows and then actually seeing what comes true. Thank you guys so much for watching, though. You guys are the only reason why I can continue to just make these videos and have fun. I get to talk to you guys. I get to hear your opinions and stuff like that. So it always helps me have a better perspective on just what it is I'm watching. When some people have, they say different things about my opinions, and not only say things about my opinion, but they also bring in theirs and tell me, like if they thought this was going to happen and it didn't, then maybe there's a reason why it didn't happen or whatever the case may be. I just enjoy hearing your guys' opinions and what you saw coming forward. So with all that being said, I hope you have an amazing one. I will definitely talk to you in the next one about some Lord. And with all that being said, peace.